This is a reading from To Be Determined by Mardi, Alexander and Laurie Eichler. To set the scene, Charlie is an American who's arrived in Australia on an overseas wildlife carers exchange program. Her mentor, Pip, is the Australian that she's been assigned to. This is Charlie's first night in Australia. You can imagine having flown all the way across and having worked half the day with Pip. It's been a very, very long day. Charlie's staying in a self-contained cabin which sits on the edge of Pip's property, a small walk from the main house. The cabin is in the middle of the bush with a creek running underneath, and it sits on large stilts. Growing through the middle of the cabin is a very large tree. It's this tree that provides a little bit of drama on Charlie's first night in Australia.
Charlie pulled her laptop out of its case. While she waited for it to boot up, she sipped her tea and flipped through a bird field guide. She decided to start a list of the birds she'd seen. As an afterthought, she programmed a calendar to cross off the days until she could go back home. As it was a warm evening, she opened all the windows and enjoyed the cross breeze. She still marveled at the trunk of a gum tree growing through the floor and extending through the highest part of the cabin. The ceiling was painted to look like a canopy of leaves with glimpses of branches. By the time she was done, it was nearly 10 o'clock, and a lovely breeze crisscrossed through the cabin from the open windows. Although physically tired, her mind wouldn't shut off if she lay in bed. She stared up at the stars through the skylight that she'd opened wide as well. The Milky Way painted a silver streak through a black abyss dotted with bright stars. The static sound of the wind soothed her, and she finally closed her eyes. Charlie had just started to doze off when she heard something else, subtle scraping on the roof. She kept her eyes closed and tried to identify the sound. She was sure it was coming from outside, maybe a branch moving against the tin roof. The noise shifted until it was directly above her. She finally looked up. Something blocked her view of the sky. The screen squeaked and seemed to complain about whatever weight was on it. What the hell? Charlie sat up and reached over to turn on the bedstand light. The screen strained and popped. A dark bulge with even darker stripes oozed over the edge. Charlie's heart nearly stopped. She didn't need any field guide to know what was hovering directly above her. Holy shit! Charlie pumped her legs to push the sheet off, but only succeeded in getting tangled up in them. More pops came from the screen as it slowly gave way. She rolled to the left and fell off the bed. With a final last pop, a snake fell in a heap onto the bed. Charlie crab-crawled backward and hit the tree. Oh my God! The snake remained motionless but for the flicking of its tongue as it tasted the air. Small beads of perspiration formed on Charlie's upper lip. Waves of heat and cold swept over her like a fever trying for control of her body. Loud thumping seemed to drown out all other sounds as her heart pounded against her ribs. Her lungs struggled to take in sufficient air. She suddenly remembered the radio. Surely Pip would come and help her. But the radio was on the nightstand next to the light, and that was next to the bed, where the fricking huge snake was. Charlie kept her eyes on the snake as she slowly crawled closer until she was finally able to grasp the radio. She swallowed hard and pushed the transmit button. "Pip," Charlie whispered. "Pip, are you there? Oh, please answer. I need your help. There's a snake in here. I don't know what to do. Please answer me, Pip, or better, just get your ass over here." As she waited for Pip to answer, her panic rose. How was she supposed to deal with this 20-foot monster? She realized she was still holding the transmit button down. She released it and heard Pip's voice.
Is it?
"What?" Charlie licked her lips and tasted salt.
What kind is it?
"Fuck, I don't know. It's a snake, for God's sake. In the cabin, on my bed. Get your ass over here and get it out."
Is the head triangular and distinct from its body? That will tell me if it's poisonous or not.
"I have no idea. I sure as hell wasn't about to sit here with the damn thing in my lap." Charlie realized she was crouched down, and in her current position it was impossible to see anything but the floor. She straightened up and checked the top of the bed. It was empty. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. She wildly looked around the room, only to realize she was probably on the same level as the snake. In a movement that would make Superman proud, she sprung to her feet and jumped on the bed.
What's wrong now? Pip sounded like she was mildly amused.
It's gone.
Well, you have to find it.
What do you mean I have to find it? Please, Pip, I'm begging you.
All right. I'm on my way. I'll keep my radio with me.
Charlie mumbled into the air. Big of you.
Sorry, Charlie?
Just hurry, will you, please? Charlie felt only slightly more secure on the bed. With Pip now on her way, she didn't feel like she was going to pee her pants anymore. She leaned forward as far as she dared without falling off the bed and craned her neck in both directions. The snake was nowhere to be seen. Shit. She caught movement to her left, level to her knees. The snake had curled itself around the tree. It extended the front part of its body and got a grip with its ventral scales. It then pulled the rest of its body upward in a very slow ascent. Pip, it's climbing the tree. Can it get out through the roof? Charlie shuddered. If it could get out that way, the damn thing could get back in.
Bugger.
What? At least it's not on the floor, right?
There's a gap between the ceiling and the roof. If it gets in there, we'll never get it out.
Charlie only heard the "we" and was about to make a comment when Pip broke her train of thought.
You have to stop it.
What? How? What am I supposed to do? Call it over nicely, like, here, snaky, snaky?
Pip's voice was flat and calm. Grab it by its tail and hold on.
You have got to be kidding me. No way. No fucking way.
Charlie, you have to. I won't get there in time.
Charlie threw the radio down, swallowed hard, and tried to summon every ounce of courage in her body. I'd rather grab a wolf by the tail, thank you very much. The snake's tail was now chest high to her. It was now or never. She reached up, shuddered, grabbed the tail, and held on. The snake stopped its forward movement, but was tugging hard against her hold. She couldn't believe how strong it was. She tightened her grip and prayed for Pip to come through the door. Something wet and slimy oozed onto her hand and down her wrist. She looked up and gagged. The damn thing was shitting on her. The foul, musky smell seeped into her sinuses, its assault so strong she was convinced she could taste it. Charlie nearly let go. She'd pack her things, call Therese, apologize, and catch the next flight home. This was ridiculous. Yeah, skunks smelled bad, but she wasn't afraid of them. The door flung open, much to her relief. Pip walked in and closed the door behind her. She glanced at Charlie, then at the snake, and sniffed.
A wry half-smile slid across Pip's face. Got pooped on, huh?
Just get your ass over here and do what you need to do. I'm not holding on to this thing for 1 second longer.
Pip shrugged and worked the muscles in her jaw. She rubbed her hands on her pants and grabbed the snake above Charlie's hand. It's going to eventually give up, and when it does, it'll fall on the floor. I'll need you to open the door so I can guide it out.
You didn't think to leave the door open when you came in? Charlie was back on the bed again.
I could have, if you'd have wanted to be carried away by the mozzies.
Pip and the snake tugged against each other for another 10 minutes in a silent standoff of wills. During that time, Charlie got off the bed, sidled over to the couch, and took a stance on top of it. She held her hand away from her body as if she had touched nuclear waste.
You're going to have to get off that lounge in order to open the door.
Yeah, well, I'll do what I need to do when I have to.
Pip's efforts began to win over against the snake as the snake's head lost traction against the pole, its body swaying at the sudden loss of leverage. Pip growled. Now would be a good time.
Charlie looked over at Pip with questioning eyes.
The door, Charlie! Get the bloody door!
Charlie nodded as she jumped off the couch and scrambled to the door. Yep, onto it. Gripping the door, she swung it open and held it safely against the length of her body. She peeked nervously around the edge.
Still holding it by the tail, Pip guided the python in the direction of the door, ushering it out to the porch, where it slithered swiftly to the edge to drop over the side with a resounding thump. Pip stood in the now empty doorway and wiped her hands down the length of her thighs. With a sigh, she turned to face Charlie, who still hid behind the door. Was there anything else you wanted? No? Righto. See you in the morning, then.